Hi, both of you. I know it's 6, but we'll wait 2 3 minutes more for the others to come. Yeah? Can you guys hear me? Yeah. Okay. So, I'll start. I'll wait for 16:03 and probably then we'll start. Yeah. Okay. I'll start. Hi everyone, Jobin Varughese here, and most of you have been coming here for the past 3 weeks, so I don't need to introduce myself. So you know how it goes. We go through some 10 questions per week, and yeah, I expect you to answer them. So they're mostly objective. So yeah, okay. I'll present the first question in front of you. You guys can take a minute to read through it and then tell me the answer. So basically, there are two parts to this question. One, okay, so one is deep sea vent where chemoautotrophy is happening, and the last two lines, surface autotroph, which is mostly photoautotroph. There's one question to that. So I'm asking. So yeah, so if it's what kind of carbon are they assimilating or are they fixing? Both of them. So that's the question. So I already got some answers. Raihanul has said A. Hi Reina. Raihanul. Sorry, saw that message now. Anybody else? Any other answer? So you got the question right. I mean, people, everyone. So so Sir was talking about something called chemoautotrophy and photoautotrophy. So basically, photoautotrophy is producers producing food in the presence of or using the photons, the light, as the energy source. And chemoautotrophy is basically producers producing food, carbon-based food, in the presence of chemical reactions that is happening. So, deep sea vent is just one example. There are other examples of chemoautotrophy happening elsewhere in the world as well. But deep sea vent, that the picture that you see in the slide, where if you remember watching Little Mermaid, you must have seen these images also in a very cartoonish way. But yeah, these are the deep sea vents, and there's also autotrophy happening. So this is mostly chemoautotrophy. So the question is one assimilates dash carbon and the other, surface autotroph like photoautotroph, assimilate dash carbon. So is it organic, inorganic, inorganic, organic, 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 or inorganic, inorganic? I would need 2-3 more answers from everyone. From all of you. I got one from Raihanul. He says A. Somebody else wants to give any other answer? If A, it's okay. You can say the same answer. But if somebody else thinks something else, then can you give me some other answer? Sorry. Yeah, Shubhangi. Do you want to say something? Shubhangi, you raised your hand. Do you want to say something? Okay, Arjit is saying B. Arjit is saying B. Okay. Hemlat. Okay. So, background. What is the kind of carbon they are fixing? What is the raw material? Where are they getting the carbon from? At least if you don't know chemoautotrophs, then at least tell me of photoautotrophs. Where are they getting the carbon from? You can talk or you can answer it in the chat box. So plants make carbohydrates, C6H12O6. That's how I remember. But yeah, that's one of the glucose. But yeah, get it from the atmosphere in the form of so Raihanul says plants get their carbon from atmosphere in form of CO2. Is CO2 an inorganic carbon or organic carbon? Yeah. It's the same way in chemoautotrophs also. They are basically assimilating carbon dioxide and other stuff in the water, which is dissolved. And there's all the more reason for you to say that the deep sea vents don't have organic carbons at all. They have inorganic carbon. So answer is actually D. Both of them are inorganic carbons. So the photoautotrophs assimilate carbon dioxide, which is an inorganic carbon dioxide, And chemoautotrophs, especially particularly deep sea whales, they also assimilate carbon dioxide dissolved in water, which is also an inorganic carbon source. So, is everyone clear why it is D and not A and B? Yeah, deep sea has some creatures, but the same creature also assimilate dissolved carbon dioxide, which is again an inorganic carbon source. It's not organic. I'm just asking, what is the source? Where do they get the carbon from? Is it an inorganic source or an inorganic source? If the photoautotrophs you can understand it's inorganic, then how is it difficult to understand that dissolved carbon dioxide in water is also inorganic, right? Yeah. Hopefully everyone got it. They're both inorganic. Okay. I suppose. Did everyone get the question and the answer? Or, anyways, I'll move to the next. Yeah. The next question is on your screen. You have a graph here. I think it's a very famous graph. So you have sea kelp on the bottom, which looks like hands waving in the air. Then you have sea urchin on the second rung. Then you have otters in the third rung. And on the left side, you don't have a fourth rung, but on the right side, you have a fourth rung, which is an orca. And so in the graph you have sea otter abundance, which is going down, sea urchin biomass, which is there are two graphs to it, 1986 I think, and 1997, and then grazing intensity for all these years, and then total kelp density for all these years. So which species over here do you think is the keystone species? Okay, Rehanu says killer whale. So people have, if they have watched Sir's video, he was talking about wolves of Yellowstone National Park, which is the keystone species over there. So there were three rungs over there. I mean, three levels. One was the vegetation of Yellowstone National Park, the other was the deer population of the Yellowstone National Park, and the third was the wolf population of the Yellowstone National Park. So before the wolves were reintroduced, there were only two rungs, the deer population and the vegetation. Did everyone get it? So once the wolf was introduced, which was the top predator for that particular ecosystem, then the Yellowstone National Park got stabilized a little, the vegetation started growing back, and we have a controlled population for deer. Similarly, just imagine the scene over here and answer this question. So the wolf is the keystone species over there. Answer this question in a very similar, imagining a similar situation over here. Which rung, which level are we talking about? Which is the population that is going out of control? Which is the population that is controlling the population that is going out of control, and stuff like that. So also take a note of the arrows here. Yeah. Now, which do you think is what do you think is the answer? Is it B? Usually. So Rehanu says usually top predator is the keystone species, but that's usually. Over here the situation is slightly different. Okay, so I'll just tell you the story. So I'm not sure the location, but somewhere in America where in this locality or the sea otters were the top predators. So they have a, okay, let me just use the, yeah. So they had a big control over the sea urchins, which had a loose effect or impact on the kelps. So the kelps grew nicely. Yeah. So the kelps grew nicely, sea urchins were under control, and sea otters kept the sea urchins under control. Now, what happened was, because the other prey items for the sea orcas diminished because of overhunting and stuff like that, the orcas, the killer whales, turned and started eating the sea otters, which was not their natural prey. Are people following now? So, because it was not their natural prey and sea otters went down, the sea urchins, so the sea otters had less of a control or less of an impact on sea urchins. The sea urchins expanded, so you can see the sea otter abundance went down, because of which in 1987 the sea urchin population was low or biomass was low, and in 1997 it suddenly increased. The grazing intensity of sea urchin on the scalp also increased like some 10 times more. Okay, and thus the kelp density, you can see from 1987 to 1997 it reduced drastically from 10 to 1, again 10 times less. So basically, if you are to look at this in a or if you have to make it analogous to the Yellowstone National Park, then kelp is the vegetation of the Yellowstone National Park. Sea urchins are the deers, or otters are the wolves over here, and orcas are something that were controlling the wolf, which was the human in the case of Yellowstone National Park. So they were controlling if the wolves get introduced or not introduced. I mean, it's just analogous. You don't have to take it very seriously. So even though orca looks like a top predator over here, it was an introduced top predator for the sea otter, and sea otter are basically the keystone species over here, without which the sea urchins expand the population and diminish the population of the kelp. Do you get why the answer is A, sea otter here now? Yeah, okay. Anybody else? I mean, why is, yeah, Monica, apart from Monica and Rayhanul, there are not many people who are answering the question. Deepali, okay, Deepali is saying. Arjit is there. So, people who got, I mean, could you get the logic of this question and the answer? Yes or no would suffice. So, answer is A, sea otter. Okay. So basically, sea otters are the one, yeah. Sea otters are the one that are controlling the sea urchin population, which control the grazing intensity. If they are more, then the grazing intensity is high. If they are less, the grazing intensity is less. And thus it controls basically the kelp population. And kelp population is basically I mean, it's the producer of the ecosystem. So, yeah. So sea otters are the one giving a top-down effect to the sea kelp. I mean, affecting the sea kelp, and orcas were introduced and or got introduced because of human. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So the next question is on your screen. So it's about a terminology or the phrase called landscape of fear. Yeah. It's about a phrase called landscape of fear. You can read the definition over here there, and yeah, it's a very. I mean, you'll have to think a little for this. Uh, yeah, I can give you hints and clues on the way, but think before you answer. So think of all the species. I mean, everyone must be aware of what African savannas look like, and I mean, Nat Geo, National Geographic, Animal Planet were full of documentaries of African savannas. They showed every other animal that was found in the savannas at least once or twice. So people know what all species are present in African savannas, and they can relate to what is A, B, C, and D in African savannas. What does it look like? So and yeah, so think about the answer a little, and yeah, select one of the answers. Okay, I'll start explaining the question a minute later, but by the time if anyone wants to attempt answering, they can. So this question is not very different from the Yellowstone National Park and the wolf example. It's the same thing. I mean, wolf created a landscape of fear, so that there were certain portions of the Yellowstone National Park that the deer never went to because of the high population of the wolf there. So those areas or regions started having a better growth of plants, and yeah, and okay, see large herbivores. Arjit says. Nice. Somebody raised the hand. Who do you want to speak? Uh, I can't see. Okay. Is anyone wanting to talk? No. Okay. Okay. Jyotimani also says C. Paritosh says C. Bilal says A. Raihanul says either B or C. Okay, I understand. Okay. Okay. Sumitra says C. Okay, I got enough answers. I will start explaining the question a bit, and then the others can, if they understand, then they can answer the question as well. So basically, I mean, what is shown over here? What is shown over here? There is savanna, which is only the grassland, and then there are forests nearby. So the animals that are the smaller herbivores, which are predated upon by the larger carnivores in this area, so they prefer open habitats, which is much safer for them, because when in group they can see more, I mean, at further distance, and all the animals that are predators are usually what is it called, ambush predators. So they ambush the prey, so they need places to hide to ambush. So that's why then, I mean, these animals, these smaller herbivores, they are aware of this. So they are either aware that their predators are ambush predators, and they should be cautious of that, or they are aware that being in an open area makes them safer, because they can see at a far distance, they can see a predator approaching. So they would rather stay in the open areas than in the forest areas or under the canopy of the tree or something like that. So, but what happens with that is, all the I mean, all the scat or the dung that they defecate also stays in the open area, and the nutrients are never transferred in the closed canopy or the closed forest area. So how does what happens, I mean, how does this distribution get evened out? So there's an uneven distribution of the raw materials coming from the defecation, the raw materials that are required for the plants to further uh, expand their biomass. So how does this uneven distribution get evened out? So the options were predators. So either the predators even them out, but you can't think of a reason why. Wind and water flow even them out, but that's very, it's a very, yeah, they can even it out, but then that would mean that it can happen only in certain areas, like if the if so if it's the water flow that we're talking about, then if the forest is on the down slope, and the grassland is on the up slope, then probably some evening out can happen because of water flow. Similarly, in the wind flow as well, the case can be. But larger herbivores, are they the one that are evening them out? And what could be the reason why larger herbivores are not affected by or do not follow the landscape of fear? Or is it the fire that's evening it out? I'll just give the answer. Okay, so this is the entire figure. Over here, one can see, yeah. So the larger herbivores, they are not affect, or they are so large that they are not afraid of the predators. Imagine the larger herbivores. They are like rhinoceros or elephants. Like I said, if you think, imagine African savanna. What are the larger herbivores that you can think of? They are rhinoceros or elephants, basically, and they are not actually predated upon by the top carnivores over there, which are the lions and the cheetahs and the leopards. All of them prefer, leopards and cheetahs definitely prefer smaller herbivores. And even if even if you talk about the buffaloes, the water buffaloes, they call something. But yeah, the buffaloes over there, or the wildebeest over there, they are mostly predated upon by lions, and nothing, yeah, and none of the bigger herbivores are ever predated upon, or mostly not never predated upon by lions. So they are the ones actually evening out. So they are equally present in the savannas as well, sorry, in the grasslands as well as in the closed canopy or the forest area. So they are the ones evening out the distribution of the fecal matter and stuff throughout the savannas. Yes, Rehanul, I understand the wind and water flow can also do that, but they are, yeah. Savannas have scanty rainfall, so see, larger herbivores are not afraid of predators. Actually, savannas don't have scanty rainfall. They have high. Savannas, if you look at it, what they have is precipitation. They have a very wide. What is it called? They have a great seasonality of precipitation. So there would be months where there is no precipitation, but when precipitation happens, it happens in a very strong. The precipitation happens in a very strong way. So it's not like savannas don't get much water. It's just that the seasonality is very high. So yeah, but the answer is C, large herbivores. So, but yeah, it's a very good way of deducing the answer. Yeah. Yeah. Is everyone understood why it's C and not A, B, or D? Has everyone understood? Sorry. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Oh, sorry, I didn't put the. Yeah, but it's from a current biology paper. I forgot to. Yeah, no, there's Pringle 2018. Yeah. Mega herbivores. Okay, the answer was here itself. The mega herbivores homogenize the landscape of fear. Okay. Yeah. So let's move on to the next question. Yeah. So if we, if you have heard the sir's lecture, then you might know what net primary productivity is. The gross primary productivity is whatever the productivity throughout the year is, and the net primary productivity is basically reducing everything that is used for respiration and stuff like that. So whatever is left and whatever shows as the extra biomass created for that year, that is the net primary productivity. So yeah. So basically, I am asking, based on the net primary productivity, what is the sequence? Is tropical rainforest greater than needle leaf evergreen forest, greater than broadleaf deciduous forest, greater than savannas, greater than tundra, or the other options that you see? What is the sequence of net primary productivity in the order of higher to lower? So Monica says D, tropical rainforest, broadleaf deciduous, it's needle leaf evergreen, broadleaf deciduous again. Oh my god. There was a mistake over there, but savannas and tundras. Okay, I'll just. Okay, sorry, I had to do that. I had made a mistake over there. But now tell me the answer. Yes, Arijit, needle leaf means pine like structure. Basically, pine, conifers, all these trees. Sorry, I made a mistake in D. Now, can you rethink of the answer? Oh, okay, D only. Okay. Or most of them said D. You are going to be up for a big surprise. Yeah. Somebody said A. Anyways, Bharat Kumar said A. But anyways, so this is the NPP per year for major biomes in total. And this is in petagrams of carbon, that is 10 to the power of 15 grams of carbon. That's almost equal to 10 to the power of 12 kilograms of carbon. Yeah, whatever. So anyway, so you can see that tropical rainforest has the highest NPP as can be. I mean, as is very intuitive. But the second biome that has the highest NPP is savannas. So that is 16.8. Then the next that comes is 3.1, both the needle leaf evergreen forest and mixed broad needle leaf forest. And your broadleaf deciduous forest has only 1.5 petagrams per this thing. Tundra has less, 0.8. But savannas is actually a very productive biome. I mean, it doesn't look like it is very productive because most of your production is happening below ground and not above ground. So, and also imagine the kind of animals that I mean, that the savannas have. They have lions and they have like huge populations of wildebeest and other herbivores, and they're huge animals. So the kind of production, the kind of NPP that can actually contribute is, basically savannas do have a high productivity in a nutshell. So the answer is B. I mean, I can't explain it, but I mean, this is like a factual this thing. NPP was calculated in 2001 by scientist called Geider, and so the B is the answer. Tropical rainforest, followed by savannas, followed by needle leaf evergreen forest, followed by broadleaf deciduous forest, followed by tundra. Is everyone okay with the answer? I mean, people think that savannas are not very productive because of the way they look, but savannas do have a great deal of production in the below ground, not just the above ground. Okay, cool. I'll move on to the next question. Here, the next question. I'll give you some time to read. So you have two examples. You have a small stream and you have a large stream. And autochthonous and allochthonous, basically autochthonous ecosystem is where the organic matter is produced within the ecosystem due to photosynthesis or chemosynthesis or whatever. And allochthonous ecosystem is where the organic matter comes from outside. So there are two examples over here, a small stream and a large stream. Where is the organic matter? I mean, is a small stream more allochthonous than a large stream is the question. So basically that would mean that are the organic matter coming from outside more for a small stream than a large stream? Confirm the answer first. Okay. So somebody said, okay, Arjit says A. Yes, small streams are more allochthonous than a large stream. Bilal says no, small stream is more autochthonous than a large stream. Krish also said autochthonous than a large stream, and Bilal said no, both are equally and highly allochthonous. Some other answer, like the other people who are participating in the Monica, Sumitra, do you have answers? Bharat Kumar, I didn't get Rehanul's answer as well. Liston, Jyotimani, Paritosh. Sir, I didn't get that. Okay. D. Okay, so allochthonous is an ecosystem where the organic matter is coming from outside the boundaries of the ecosystem. Autochthonous is an ecosystem where the organic matter is produced within the boundaries of the ecosystem. So the question is, a small stream like the one you see in the top figure of top image is a small stream. Is it more allochthonous? So basically that means that is the organic matter coming more from the outside than a large stream, the one that you see in the bottom figure is a large, so yeah. So there are two votes for A, B there are three votes for A, B there are two votes. Two or three, I think. Three. D, they have 2 votes. Yeah. Monica, did you get the question? Sumitra says A. Okay. What's your answer then, Monica? B. Okay. So think of it as this way: small stream and large stream are okay. I mean, they might get equally from outside, but there's one thing that the small stream doesn't have. The small stream is so small that usually the vegetation covers the water stream. So that would mean that photosynthesis happening within a small stream has a very little chance. Do you get my point? Like a large stream, you can see is a little more open, and there's a higher chance of photosynthesis happening in a larger stream. Now, can you think why the answer? I mean, what the answer could be? So there is less photosynthesis happening in a small stream and more photosynthesis happening in an open stream. So what could be the answer now? Yeah. Okay. So the answer is A. Yes, small streams are actually more allochthonous. Whatever organic matter comes in within the small stream comes from the outside more, and there is less chance of photosynthesis happening in small stream or of it becoming more autochthonous. And large streams are more autochthonous than a small stream. So yes, the answer is A. Cool. I'll move on. Is everyone okay with the answer then? I'll I'll just move on to the next question. Sixth question. Yeah. Just give it a read. There's a lot of stuff. It's not a very difficult question, but yeah. Okay, B. Okay. So ocean acidification is basically as the carbon dioxide in the atmosphere increases because of all the greenhouse gas emission from the factories and mostly from the automobile emission. If they increase in the atmosphere, seawater or basically water has a very heavy capability of dissolving carbon dioxide. So dissolved carbon dioxide eventually forms carbonic acid in the water that has the effect of increase or reducing the pH of the water. So basically that would increase the height as the figure says. The figure says that as the atmospheric, sorry, yeah, so as the atmospheric carbon dioxide increases, dissolved carbon dioxide in water also increases. With water, the dissolved carbon dioxide forms carbonic acid. It's a very simple reaction: H2O plus CO2 gives H2CO3 carbonic acid, which increases the acidity or reduces the pH of the seawater. Sorry. So that can, and all the seashells are formed of no, all the seashells are formed of carbonates, calcium carbonates. So that, how does it affect the marine shell building creatures? So the answer could be so when the experiment was carried out, it was found that probably they build thicker shells. It could have been found that it can cause shell erosion for certain creatures, or C, it could also be it can also happen that the grip of these shell creatures on the rocks reduces, or D, it could actually be all the things that I mean could be like a um, like all the three effects happening at once because of the increased carbon dioxide in water. Most of the people have said B. There is no reasoning to it. I mean, the answer is actually D. Uh, when the experiments were done, it was actually found that the shell erosion happens for certain species, but certain species actually, because of high acidity, they build thicker shells, so that even with the erosion happening, the amount of shell that they can that eventually comes, that gets eroded and comes down to, is more or less the same amount that they are used to. So some creatures build thicker shells, and sea is also a possibility where some of the sea creatures, because of high water movements within the sea, they lose their ability to grip on the rocks because of the acidity in the water. So the answer is all of the above. So okay, so shell erosion so we are talking about different species over here. There's not just one species, and they all have different kinds of reaction to, yeah. So different kinds of reaction to acidity of the seawater. For some it may happen that erosion of shell happens and they can't do anything about it. Some actually adapt to the higher acidity and build thicker shells. So, certain others, they just lose the ability to grip on the rocks. So yeah, it's yeah. Okay, I'll move on to the next question. The answer for this question is D, all of the above. Yeah. The next question is on the screen. Again, a very straightforward question. Yeah, Sumitra says carbonate ions play a vital role in building blocks. Yes. Yeah. Okay, the answer, what people have saying B, B, B. Okay, cool. Quite a unanimously declared answer. Okay, so I don't have to explain much over here. The ecological pyramid that can only be upright is not pyramid of biomass, not pyramid of numbers, but pyramid of energy, because at each trophic level the energy reduces by 10% because of the 10% rule. So the pyramid of energy is almost always pyramidal in shape, unlike the others which can take a different spindle shape or inverted pyramid shape or whatever. Yes, energy is always unidirectional. Okay, so I'll move on to the next question then. So here we're talking about photosynthetic efficiency, which is the percentage of incoming photosynthetically active radiation incorporated into the above ground NPP, which is the net primary productivity. So what sequence for photosynthetic efficiency might be correct? Some of these questions are not very intuitive. If you know the answer, you know the answer. But yeah, this is one of those questions. If you know the answer, you know the answer. Not very intuitive. But yeah, go ahead. The pictures are there on the screen showing what kind of forest we are talking about. Conifer forest on the top, deciduous forest in the center panel, and the desert in the lower panel. People say A. Okay. Somebody said B. Okay. Utkarsh says A. Arjit says D. Alright, so I'll just give you the answer. Most of you have said A, some have said, okay, one has said B and one has said D. Okay, I'll just give you the answer. What is the answer? Even I forgot. Okay, so based on the figure that you see on your right, C has a very high photosynthetic efficiency, which is the conifer. D has the next photosynthetic efficiency, and desert has even less photosynthetic efficiency. But you can see on the x-axis you have the PAR. You can see that desert has more PAR than conifer or deciduous. But even then, the photosynthetic efficiency is much less for the desert and much higher for the conifer forest. So answer is A, conifer, then deciduous, and then desert. Is everyone okay with the answer? I mean, you have to be. Yeah, okay. Cool, then the next question is on your screen. Okay, so the question is, energy flow is a unidirectional and dash pathway, and the movement of mineral nutrients is dash. Options are cyclic, non-cyclic, non-cyclic, cyclic, 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 or non-cyclic, non-cyclic. Most of you people have said B. It is actually very straightforward question. I'll give others also a chance to answer before I declare the answer. What do other people have to say about the question? Other people like, where are C, Dipali says C. Oh. Paritosh says C. What do other people have to say? Distin, Neha, Padmavati. Okay. C. Imran, Bilal. Bilal, did you answer Bilal? No, you didn't. C. Okay. Okay, so so there was a class on cycles basically. Like there are potassium cycle, there are phosphorus cycle, there is a carbon cycle, there's a water cycle. So all of these are nutrients. Movement of minerals and nutrients. So that that is definitely cyclic. Okay, and energy is unidirectional. So whatever energy comes can never be used back again. Bilal says X. What does that mean, Bilal? You don't know the answer? So energy cannot be reused. Once used, energy is lost. It's either used up or it's lost as whatever heat energy or digesting the food or producing the food or whatever energy is used for. So it's lost and it's never reused. So it's a non-cyclic pathway for the energy. But movement of other materials is cyclic. They have to be used back again because Earth only has a limited amount of material or a limited amount of minerals on the surface to be used. Nothing comes from outside. The only thing that comes from outside is sun's energy. That is energy flow, and that is basically limitless for the Earth. And yeah, so the answer is B, non-cyclic is cyclic. Energy flow is a unidirectional and non-cyclic pathway, and the movement of mineral nutrients is cyclic, and that's why we have mineral cycles like potassium cycle, phosphorus cycle, carbon cycle, nitrogen cycle. All that was the part of the lecture that Sir gave. Did everyone get the answer? Bilal, did you get the answer? Why is B? Everyone who didn't say B, like Arjit, Liston, Paritosh and Dipali, do you understand why it's B now? Yeah. Okay. Cool. This is the last question that we have. Move on to the next slide. Again, if you know the answer, you know the answer. Very short question. People say C. Imran says D. Liston says C. Was it there in the lecture? I don't remember this being discussed in the lecture. Neha says C. Interesting. A lot of people say C. Anybody else out there wanting to change the answer from C and say something else? Or do you want to stick to C? Arjit says might be C. Okay. Rehanu says B maybe. Okay. B maybe. Okay, enough. This is one of those questions where you actually know the answer or you don't. So I'll just give you the answer. There's one more person. It may be D. Smitra says D. Okay. Yeah. The answer is there on the screen. Find it out. Wait, what? Oh, sorry. So the answer is not there on the screen. But basically, if you add it up, and yeah, it's not B. Sorry, it's not in percentage. Ocean has 1370 into 10 to the power of 6 kilometer cube. So a kilometer cube, it's a unit of volume. If people can understand that, it's basically 1 kilometer by 1 kilometer by 1 kilometer, the length, breadth, and height of a cube. So that's almost like if you do if you do a meter of if you do a cube of meter, that contains like 1,000 liters of water. So kilometer cube is like basically 1,000 into 1,000 into 1,000 liters of a meter cube. Just like the battery is low, I'll just. Sorry, the okay. So I mean, for the answer, you might have to add up everything and find out what 0.13 upon the sum of everything. So major portion is ocean, point one. Sorry, ocean has 1,370, and rivers or lakes are 0.13. So everything else is not as high as ocean. So I think groundwater is 9.5. Even if we add groundwater, it becomes 1,380 almost. So if you add everything, then rivers and lakes are basically percentages 0.13 upon 1,370. How much is that? 0.13 upon 1,370. Wow. Okay. 0.13 upon 1,370 into 100. Okay. Oh, sorry. So the answer is 0.009489. So it is not B, it is not D, nor is it A. It's actually C. Did you get it? Why is it C? I'm dividing 0.13 upon 1,370 or 1,380 approximately, and I'm calculating the percentage. That means I'm multiplying it with 100. I am getting 0.009489. It's almost equal to C, 0.01 percentage. Okay, so we are done for today. Is anybody having any more questions? Any more doubts that they want to ask? Can we end the session then? Sorry, yes or no? Please. We are ending the session then? Yeah, okay. Some books for wildlife ecology. Can I get back to you the next class? Yeah. Raihanul, I can give you a suggestion. Yeah, okay. Cool. Okay. Bye then. Bye people. Thank you.